So last week we talked about the zero-based budget, and I told you we would be going over a little bit more in detail how to interact with that form. Before we do, I just want to give you some keys to remember about budgeting in general. The first thing is be patient with yourself. It takes time to get even halfway decent at budgeting. There'll be months where you want to just crumple it up and throw it away, and that's fine. I just encourage you to start again the next month. The next thing is do it together. If you are married, what I would recommend is get together with your spouse at the beginning of the month and do the budget and just go over how much you can spend in each particular category. It just gives you a baseline for spending at the beginning of the month. The next thing is put first things first. So, for example, if you want to start a savings account for emergencies, that's great. What I would recommend though is when you get that first check of the month, take that money and put it directly into the savings account that you would like to fund that. It just makes it easier to do throughout the month if it's prioritized. So this is the form that we talked about last week, and I can't type on this form here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a spreadsheet that I created because I'm a gigantic nerd. And so here is the monthly cash flow form, and this is just another word for zero-based budget. And so on this particular form here, you can see that we have the $5,000 take-home pay, and we've taken that money and we have allocated it into all these different budget categories throughout the month. It looks like I left one there. And so you can see we have the take-home pay and the totals from each category, and they equal 0, and that's where you want to start. And so what I would recommend is on a weekly basis, you and your spouse, or if you're single, you by yourself, go back through your bank account and look at what you spent that particular month. And so let's say you had your electric bill and you paid that, and the mortgage came out, and so your full mortgage payment came out there. Everything is going well. And then you look and you said, oh, you know what? We spent $100 on children's clothes, but we didn't budget for it. And so what we have to do then in this case is we have to budget for it. So we put $100 in the budget, and now you can see we're $100 over in our categories. So we have to make up for that somewhere. So we have to take money from somewhere to make up for that $100. So let's say we take it out of the pocket money for him and her. And so now what we have is we have a balanced budget again. We're back to now only $50 for each person. And that's why it's important to do this together. Communication is going to be key, because if you didn't tell your spouse that they now have $50 less to spend in pocket money, they're going to go out and spend their $100, and we're going to have an issue again, right after that. So again, communication is key. Do this with your spouse if you can, and do it on a weekly basis. And so this is a good place to leave off. We're going to probably be interacting with this form again next week. But if you have any questions again, concerns, let me know. If you would like a copy of this Excel spreadsheet, it's a lot easier to interact with than the paper. Let me know, and I can send you a copy of this as well. So, like I said, we'll be back here again next week, probably working on this form.